People ask, is hypnosis real? And the answer is, it's very, very real.
Press. Sleep.
When I go to see my pain specialist, he is just talking about the drugs, but I'm desperate to get a treatment.
What's the point? You know, I can't get any help. I'm just not expecting to be able to be fixed. I don't know.
You can get better without necessarily spending 10, 15, 20 years in the system.
Can you stop something that's been happening for 20 years?
If you're capable of enjoying a good movie, then you are capable of going into trance.
It was the most intense emotional feeling I've ever had.
Now I'm talking directly to subconscious mind. If there's any emotion there, it's time to let go. It's a great tool for helping you to be the best version of you, living up to your true ability. It is very complicated, but if it's done well, life changer. Come on in. This is headquarters, if you pardon the pun. I've been doing this work for nearly 20 years now. And, you know, here is where it all happens. But, you know, it's not perhaps what most people expect.
Look into my eyes, look into my eyes. The eyes, not around the eyes, don't look around the eyes, look into my eyes. You're under. You will order from the set menu, 3 courses, $8.95. You will not order the lobster. 3, 2, 1, you're back in the room.
There's no pocket watch or spinny disc or, you know, and I don't have a waistcoat with moons and stars on it, you know, and a waxed moustache. But those are some of the misconceptions of hypnotherapy, not the reality. I've done about 40,000 sessions with celebrities, rock stars and royalty.
Hypnotherapy it's a fantastic method to use. So I'm always in constant motion of using that hypnotherapy method in my own way.
Hypnosis has been almost like a secret of the rich and the famous. If those people have been using hypnosis for years, why haven't we all? There's a global epidemic of mental health issues. The number of people needing help is just going up and up and up and up and up. You know, if you're suffering with crippling anxiety, or you, dare I say, you know, you're contemplating taking your own life, an appointment in a year's time is not good. And that's not the fault of the clinicians, it's the system. Just looking at my emails, I've got 2,090 emails to reply to from people looking for help. And just came across one here. Chris has had explosive anger problems, and the majority of the time, there's no reason for it. Can just set it off on this trivial thing, something I've got no control over. I've tried previously just to shut up and manage quietly, which is of course what lots of guys try and do.
And explosive anger and throwing things and punching things, not people, I might add, just stuff, ridiculously stupid things that you shouldn't be getting angry over. I mean, really ridiculously stupid things like not being able to find the fucking garage keys and stuff like that. I get this sort of ball of energy in the pit of my stomach which feels like it just has to come out somehow. And no matter how much I try to fight against it, it just has to come out.
Tried several routes, including counselling, psychologist assessment, psychiatric assessment, cognitive behavioural assessment. God, this guy really has been around the block. Exercise, changing sleep, further scans of my brain. The list goes on. I so feel for this guy. Offered no follow-up. Can't just leave people hanging like that.
And the worst one, do you remember when you came to see the doctor with me a couple of years ago at Christmas, and I told him what I was going through? He just sat there and looked at me and said, well, what do you want me to do about it? I was just absolutely flabbergasted. I was there in his office crying, literally asking for help.
Chris, I was reading your email and God, it sounds like you've been through the mill, doesn't it?
It's going to end up ruining people's lives. Like, we speak to my wife sometimes.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be that anymore.
It might be useful to have a chat with her, actually.
He has these days, these moments, these times in his life where he's just horrible. There's no other way to describe it. He's almost like Jekyll and Hyde. He's like a different person. I know this is not a way to live. It's like we either get somewhere with Chris and we make a change, or, we'll have to separate, and whatever that entails, we'll have to deal with it as a family.
You mentioned the brain injury when you were 18. How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
37.
37, okay. And did the sort of pattern around anger or frustration, whatever we want to call it, did it follow almost immediately the brain injury?
It definitely followed on, but I'm in no doubt really that it's because of my brain injury.
Before I had my brain hemorrhage, I was quite a chilled out person. I had personality change, but I don't know whether it's because part of my brain got damaged.
Everyday life is a massive roller coaster from one day to the next. First time Chris was suicidal, I'd kind of found out I'd gone on his phone and I'd seen his search history where he was researching suicide. That's the first time I realised this is not somebody who is willingly being emotionally abusive. This is somebody who is in mental and emotional turmoil.
Very few problems whilst I was able to exercise consistently. Interesting. Unable to run because of my knees and ankles. Yeah, I know that feeling. The tell here is that he has been able to make it go away. He's been able to alleviate the symptoms. So I just need to find another way to alleviate the symptoms.
I'm just not expecting to be able to be fixed. I don't know.
What I'd want to do, if it's okay with you, is I'd want to arrange a few sessions together. We'd do some fairly deep hypnosis. I'm not for one second suggesting this could be like one swish of a magic wand and this thing never happens again and you ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, sure.
But I absolutely think we could crack this.
I think that my drive to look at other therapies outside traditional medicine came from the fact that I really wanted to be a better doctor. I wanted to be able to treat the whole person. I frequently use it in patients to turn their pain down.
I was diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome. The pain is like stabbing on my foot all the time. I feel like my foot is on fire. These are my patches, which I'm using them at night. That's pregabalin, cocodamol. Got some medications here, gabapentin, diazepam, opioid. When I go to see my pain specialist, he is just talking about the drugs, but I'm desperate to get a treatment.
Now I'm willing to try hypnosis for the pain, which has been affecting my whole life for the last 7 years, kind regards. That's a really sad story, actually. I'm quite happy to try and help and see if we can improve her pain, because that's the least she deserves after all she's been through.
They say that it can help psychological issues, but my pain is an actual pain. It's a real pain, so it's kind of different for me, because it's hard to believe that it can help, actual pain. This is the first scar. It's oversensitive. I can't even touch it myself. This was a really major surgery, so that was a waste of time, I think.
How much would you say this represents in terms of your physical body?
I think 50%.
It can't be 50% because that is a huge ankle. Your ankle's up to here at the moment, it's covering the whole side of your body. I get that in your focus, that it's 50 to 70%. What I'm asking you is, in reality, how much does that physically represent?
Of course, it's more than that.
I'm going to argue with you about the 100%, because what you're saying to me is that 70 to 80% of my body's represented with this ankle, whereas in fact, in reality, it's not. But in reality, this is a very small part of my total body. Okay. So how much is?
5% maybe?
5%, okay. How much attention do you pay that 5%? Now you can give me the big numbers.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm looking at the way you've turned yourself out today, and you look fantastic. We've already said this, you look great. So there's a wee bit of attention going elsewhere other than that ankle. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, I just want you to agree with me.
Okay.
So focus is important to pain, because where you focus your attention, that is what is important. So you need to start focusing less on this 5% of your body or 7% or whatever that you decide. She's got a lot of negative emotions around this pain because she's been told that maybe, you know, some of the operations were not done as well as they could be. Been on a variety of different medications. They do have an effect maybe on whether or not she's going to be able to do things like self-hypnosis and maybe cooperate as well as I would like her to. Essentially, a clinical hypnotherapist has a duty. If I have somebody come to me for hypnosis, I need to make sure that I'm not dealing with a medical, physical problem, or if I am, it's one that hypnosis is appropriate for.
I'm not really sure what to think about Chris, other than I really like to be able to help the guy. Doctors and people are saying, well, you know, we can't do anything for you. Then, you know, where do you go? So I'm just really pleased we're getting a chance to work together and see if we can help him. If it's his subconscious programming, I can get in and reprogram that. If it's something actually damaged in his brain as a result of the brain injury that he had when he was 18,
because I don't know what to expect, I don't know what result to expect, but even if I can have a little bit more control over those moments where I feel uncontrollable, then that would be huge. My instincts are telling me that I just should abandon it, but my gut tells me that my family needs this.
the problem we've got is none of that's helping us. None of that is. Because he'll be coming here with if this doesn't work, I'm fucked. That's my biggest fear. If you want my honest biggest fear, that's my biggest fear. I'll do what are called suggestibility tests. I'm going to find out how open Chris's mind is to hypnosis. How much time do you spend in your head?
A lot.
Right? Yeah. Bloody noisy in there, isn't it? I mean, I've known you for 5 minutes and I can tell. And so if I can quieten your head down, you'll still be able to think. It's just you won't have the noise. The more I get to know you, the more I'm thinking, oh.
So get to know me, but it's up to what, 10 minutes now? And
90% of what I do is the read. Tell me a memory that's not so fun.
exam stress. I guess.
Exams.
Yeah.
Close your eyes for me, just go back to the memory. Right, colour or black and white?
Bits of it in colour, mostly black and white.
And what about a feeling?
It feels like there's a string from the memory coming back.
Perfect. Open your eyes, come back out. Just let yourself reset. I just got you to relive something, and you got a feeling immediately attached with it. And I just got you to disassociate with it. Feeling went away. Which tells me that the feeling is directly related to how the thing's being perceived. Change the perception of it, you change the feeling of it. Just like that. How many doctors or people have talked about PTSD with you in the past?
None.
There's a big distinction. It's one of the cleanest distinctions in psychology. The difference between remembering and reliving is the clear tell of whether something's PTSD or not, right? Remembering is you're looking in on it, reliving it as you're seeing it through your own eyes. Would it be useful if I taught you a little bit about this? Yeah. There's two very distinct parts to our brain. Subconscious is the actual inner workings of the code, if you like, of the computer. And your conscious mind is the screen that you get to look at. The conscious mind works in logic. Subconscious mind doesn't. It works in pictures and is far more creative, and that's where the emotions sit. Now, if you can bypass the conscious mind and get to subconscious, then there's also no inhibitor to change. I'm not diagnosing you as having PTSD, that's not what I'm saying, but that's the pattern. That's an absolute pattern. So there's something in your past that's attached and keeping you stuck. Nice work. Really nice. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right, get some rest. We've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow. See you soon. Wow, that was awesome. Earlier on, I had a concern that it might be more an issue relating to the brain injury, or like a hardware issue rather than a software issue. Having spent some time with him, I'm now reasonably happy that it's a software issue, which is something I can definitely help with.
Yeah, quite an emotional couple of hours. but there's probably a lot more going on in his head, I think, than what he's letting on.
When we experience trauma, our subconscious leaps in to protect us. But because it doesn't work in logic, it often does it in the most irrational way. We pick up insecurities, we pick up negative self-talk, phobias, fears. There are thousands of variables. It is very complicated, but if it's done well, life-changing.
So today we are going to go under hypnosis by Ali to see if he can help me with my problems. Just started feeling sort of anxious, like it's a big moment coming up today.
Today is really the big one. Going to get access to his subconscious mind and really find out what's been going on in there. Now, a lot of that's going to depend on how open he is to the process. If you could choose an outcome from today, what would it be?
Not just being able to control when that snap happens.
Whenever you're ready, just close your eyes. Deeper. And forget where you are. My voice can guide you. And deeper. Relax. Now. That's it. As you relax. And I'd like to thank your unconscious mind. If that part is prepared to communicate with me, it can signal yes by gently moving any finger on your right hand. Now I'm talking directly to your subconscious mind. If there's any emotion there, any old hurts that it's time to let go, knowing that you are okay. Knowing that you will be okay. Knowing that your unconscious mind has got this. Now I'm asking that part to find one healthy way to fulfill that same positive intention as the old pattern of thoughts, feelings, behaviours. In fact, only a way that can help you to be calm, relaxed, a way that can help you to be you, the real you. I'm going to count. I'm going to count from number 1 up until, well, wherever we get to. This is the trial period for which your subconscious mind is happy to try a new way for this period of time in days. 6 days. 7 days. Just so we're clear, 7 days. I'd like to thank that part. When we all dream and we all change and we all wake up. 8, 9, 10. How you doing over there?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How did that feel?
Strange.
How did it feel for you when your fingers were moving?
I don't know, almost like hiccups, involuntary. Like you can feel the muscles doing their own thing, like you would when you hiccuping, I guess, but it's in the same way you're not controlling it, it's just them doing it on their own. I mean, they feel like anything. I don't know, not really any different to when I came in. I just feel like I've sat here and listened and not really done anything.
I think Chris has had 2 significant traumatic life events, and I think his brain is struggling to process normal life events with those others as a frame of reference. So effectively, he's playing out little things as if they're big things. Your brain is the most powerful computer that's ever been created. People are complex machines. You know, there are often key moments in our lives that shape our lives for years to come, and these are shaped by our subconscious. I've travelled to Beath today to work with Alan. Now, Alan's a really interesting case. Alan has a fear of crapping himself. when he gets in the car.
This urge, as if your body's pushing. I have that happening pretty much every time I'm going to travel somewhere now, and I have no way of stopping it. It's quite an extreme reaction. I get a fast heartbeat with it, and I believe it's adrenaline. I think my body's overreacting. It seems to think we're in a life-threatening situation here. It's severely curtailing my life, if not, in some cases, almost destroying it.
Once you get the giggles out of the way, can you realise just how debilitating that would be if you cannot get in a car to go to get your shopping? You can't take kids or grandkids to school, you can't go on a day out. If something happened to your family, you can't just pick up the keys and take them somewhere urgently. This chap has had this for half of his life, more than half of his life.
This was really scary for me, and it really unnerved me that if he developed cancer, he wouldn't go for treatment because he would have to travel up to the Beatson in Glasgow.
The way I feel about the travelling and you know, the embarrassment of it and the stress it puts me through, you know, there's a bit of me thinks, well, is really the cancer that much worse?
Have you had things checked out medically so we know there's no like underlying medical condition that's causing it?
Everything's healthy about you, there's nothing medically wrong.
Great.
It's pretty clear what was the initiating event 21 years ago now. My friend and I were travelling through to Edinburgh, we planning on playing golf, stopped the car on a hard shoulder. I climbed up the bank and behind the bushes, had to basically do a crap. I've even thought, because I'm never so bad on my motorbike, at times I've been driving, trying to picture myself riding my bike. You know, as this car's turning, I'm actually thinking I'm actually on my bike, but it's like he says, no, you're not, you're in the car.
What's interesting about that, the reason you'll be okay on a motorbike is you can scoot around the traffic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So it's not a fear of travelling, is it? A thing where it's almost like a claustrophobic response. It's when you feel stuck, then it flares up.
All my Google searches are about travel phobias, how do people deal with them? But for 20 years I've been looking for the wrong thing.
What was the worst time?
I would actually say the worst one, believe it or not, was my friend's father's funeral. In the middle of the pew, do I go, do I not go? Could I hold it? That was really intense.
Close your eyes, go back to the memory for me. It's focused or hazy?
Really focused.
You seeing it through your own eyes or from somewhere else?
It's my own eyes.
Yeah. How big's the picture?
It's life size.
Yeah. The feeling you've got right now in your body, how strong is that?
3 or 4 maybe maximum.
Okay. Take the feeling in your gut, double it in size for me. So try something. Just double it in size. Double it in size again. Where is it now on a scale from 1 to 10? We're at 3, where are we at now?
Over 10.
Right, half it in size. It's alright, you're good. Half it in size. It's good. Half it in size again. You can. Open your eyes, come back out. Open your eyes, come back out for me. Perfect. You're doing good. No, you're good, Alan, don't worry. You're doing good. You're doing good. That's the only tough bit over. Yeah, that was me being a little bit mean. Press until it hurts and you know where the problem is.
It was just an overwhelming power through my body.
Yeah. Right, now I can fix it. Let's get it sorted.
That would be a dream come true for me.
Although Alan thinks that the main event, if you like, was 20 years ago travelling to play golf, I'm not convinced. I think that there's probably something before then. So there's something in the past. Whilst part of me would like to just fix it for him, it's another part that's really curious. It's really curious to find out why he was there in the first place.
I can only summarise it saying he kind of broke me.
I can't believe how intense that was.
No.
Yeah.
It was the most intense emotional feeling I've ever had. For people to say, oh, it's all black magic and gobbledygook and it's all rubbish and nobody can tap into your subconscious, well, I would say have a look at that.
Aye.
Because
That is definitely.
that's real.
So, Chris, I haven't seen you in a week. Can you just start by telling me how you've been? What have you noticed?
I feel like a completely different person in a way. It feels to me like how normal people would feel.
The week before you came to see me, roughly, I mean, how many, sort of anger, let's say, episodes might there have been?
Lots of snippy, I'd say, sort of low-level aggression, and probably once a week a big explosion and possibly tears. Yeah, but this week I don't think there's been not a single one, not even sort of low-level snipey crap, and just everything seemed quiet.
Do you remember they said, so our first goal is to get you peace and quiet in your head? That's what you've just described.
Yeah.
Is Jess there, Chris? How's it been for you?
It was, honestly, Ali, it was instant. His whole face looked different. It sounds really silly, but the furrow in his brow, this kind of constant scowl that he had was just gone. And I feel like I've got somebody who I can love, which is actually, I didn't realise how much that was what I wanted. I wanted to be able to love Chris, and that was very, very difficult to give that, and without, when you've got this barrier of being afraid of someone, I'm kind of a little bit terrified that this is temporary.
Your job here is to resist the urge to poke it with a stick and see how it is. And our job is to make it so that it just becomes, that's just the way it is. Hey, right, sir. Let's get to work. Unconscious. You can remember, you can repeat just every positive thought you ever had about yourself as my voice can guide you. And now it's time for us to go deeper. And you can even find yourself wondering just how deeply you can go. We're always on a journey, like a train journey a lot of the time when you're never quite sure if you're on the right track. And sometimes as you do, you almost have a sense of the luggage that you've been taking on your journey till now. Life's luggage. And stuff that you've been carrying around. Pause. Now. A time. And step off this train to a platform. On that platform, you're met by a guide, a porter, a helper, a symbol of your higher self. And so you very happily hand over your luggage. Just let go. How did your body feel when we were doing that?
I do feel like stuff has been pushed out a little bit. Yeah. And my heart was, partway through that, I could really feel my heart sort of really going, ugh.
Yeah.
But by the end, it's calmed down quite a lot.
What I was doing was, if you like, is I was kind of pushing it a little bit further and further and further and further, but then wanted to check in to say, actually, subconscious, you okay with this? And it went, not entirely. When I see you next time, I can really spend a little bit of time figuring this out at a subconscious level as to what significant thing had happened.
Hypnosis for pain is something you should at least try. I find it very beneficial for my own pain. And I've also used it in patients, adults who've got pain. The glove hand anaesthesia technique is a good one. It depends on how much Sheera's prepared to go along with this, because she researches everything and she's very much in control, and she needs to realise that this actually is something that will allow her to be more in control. So just sink back into the chair for me. And just let your breathing become nice and slow. Now, Sheera, I want you to imagine that beside your left hand there's a bucket, and it's an ice bucket. Your hand becomes fixed in the cold bucket with ice all around, and you can feel your hand so frozen. and you will feel me touch the hand. Just a very slight bit of pressure. And I want you to keep that hand very cold and very numb, and you will feel a little pressure as I touch the hand again. You now know how to access that comfort down in your subconscious mind. Walking back to the here and now, back in the room. Must be a nice walk. All you can see is the pinpoint where the needle went in. You didn't produce any blood because your hand was cold.
Right. I felt the bucket, the ice, but I couldn't feel when you took the needle out.
You can transfer that comfort anywhere. You can put yourself in trance. Just put the comfort in your hand and transfer it elsewhere.
I'm back in Beath to work with Alan. Last time I was here, I wanted to really understand it properly, and I think I do now. He's going to be a bit of a challenge, if I'm honest, but it's time to do the work.
Just in the last hour or so, I started getting a bit anxious, been to the toilet a couple of times, trying not to build my hopes up. Time will tell.
I'd like to kind of see it. I was going to say see it in action. I don't actually mean that. If we're going to see it in action, we're definitely taking your car. But I'd like to see how it works. Get in a car and go somewhere. Tell me how you're feeling.
I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm feeling a bit of angst that we're only doing just over 40 miles an hour.
The anticipation is triggering the physical response.
I'm just worried if we go further, I could get caught in traffic. If I saw the traffic backed up here, it would be terrible. This is a set of traffic lights that I dread, and it shows you how paranoid I get. I know the timing of them. I would like to get off this now and start heading back. Can you quickly stop something that's been happening for 20 years?
Yeah.
Over 20 years.
The issues themselves are not real. The issues themselves are thoughts. Nothing more. They're just subconscious thought patterns.
Yeah.
And if we change it from being effectively a noun, it's a thing we can carry about, stick it in our pocket, and make it a verb, it's something that we do, that gives us choices. If you've been making the same cake recipe for 20 years,
Yeah.
and we take the flour out,
It stops instantly.
stops. Pop your hands on your legs, just like that. Perfect. And then just close your eyes for me. And asking your subconscious mind to find the part been causing what we're just going to call this problem. When you have just a sense of that part, your unconscious will indicate so by gently moving any finger on your left hand. This time I'm asking for a new, healthy way to fulfill that same positive intention without the old thoughts, feelings, behaviours, and relaxed confidence when you're travelling. Your unconscious mind can bring in its own time those hands together even, and so they will touch, and as they do, completing the circuit, completing the new recipe. Just open your eyes and come all the way back out. How are you doing over there?
That's a nice place to go.
How aware were you of your hands moving?
I didn't feel any movement.
Right, heading out of drive now.
Quick, yeah.
Cool.
Now we've actually come into a stop here, in the middle of nowhere.
We are stuck.
Yes.
We are stuck. There's
Quite a lot
cars
of
right
traffic
behind me.
Behind us.
Yep, I'm on a main road. I can't turn the other way.
How you doing?
I'm absolutely fine. We could open up some sandwiches and just have lunch.
You got any?
Well, nothing. No anxiousness. No fast heartbeat. It's unbelievable. I just said to Elliot, it's literally life changing. And for somebody who's not had an issue or a phobia that they've struggled with, to suddenly feel you've literally got rid of it, within, an hour, a couple of hours of being with Ali is just, it's almost mind-blowing. I can't believe we actually went chasing a traffic jam. This must be what people feel like when they win the lottery. When they have all that money and think, I can do what I like. Well, I don't have all that money, but that aside, I can now do what I like. I can do what I want.
I can't believe that.
No, and I can't believe it either. And there's a little bit of me still thinking, is it real? But
yes.
It has to be, because it just felt so different.
Oh, wow.
Alan lives about 60 miles away, and almost that entire journey is motorways, which were his biggest fear. He was terrified of being stuck or caught short on a motorway. So he was supposed to be here at 3 o'clock. I'm not sure about this one actually, about finding out quiet. I don't have an instinctive read on him at all.
There you are.
Come on in out the cold. Well done on getting here.
Oh,
That is.
I can't believe I've driven this far and not stopped every 20 minutes or so.
So the main reason that you're here today is because, well, I wanted you to do that trip. Now that you're here, I'm curious. I'm curious to find out why your subconscious reacted the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's okay with you,
I would love to know as well,
let's
what sparked it off.
Your unconscious mind is able to recall every experience that you've ever had. Although for the most part we choose not to. How old were you the year before this problem started?
33.
33. Asking your unconscious mind, what was it that caused this problem?
Trying to get the right amount of thyroxine to take for underactive thyroid gland, and feeling really shitty.
And calm back. Right. We got back to early 30s. You said something about thyroxine medication causing some problems.
So you take a radioactive iodine drink. As the nurse comes out looking with Darth Vader with a lead apron on, she said, drink that, it'll be fine. It's okay for you saying that. And then you need to get the right balance of thyroxine,
Right.
just to get it steady.
And that was going on around the same time that this thing happened.
Yeah.
The thyroxine bit is sorted out.
Yep.
But the emotional response, the psychological response kept running for 20 years.
I forgot to stop.
It forgot to stop.
Quite thought-provoking, I think, in terms of the what Ali reckons it was that kicked it off, and now it actually makes sense that he's explained it. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe that first journey that I was fixated on as being the root cause was just an example of one of the days where I was not feeling great.
The trauma of being given a radioactive drink and by a nurse dressed in lead, which I think would scare the bejesus out of anyone. But then what happened is the subconscious has stepped in to protect him.
In hypnosis, if you decide, I'm not going into trance, that it won't happen. So you need to trust the person that's doing it, and you also need to want to do it.
I've been in pain, so much pain the past couple of weeks, and I can't follow her exercises. I'm in this pain for the past 7 years. I don't really need a coach to tell me what to do, what not to do. You need to, ignore your pain. You need to, be positive. No.
So how are you doing anyway?
Not really good.
But that body language will never do good, I can tell you that now. Has anything happened today that's knocked you off?
Yes, I've been in so much pain and I can't follow the exercises you gave me.
You wanted a miracle. But you need to perform the miracle, because what I can do is show you the way how you can do this. But if you're not prepared to follow it, then we're stuck. I'm not asking you, do you like my exercises? I'm telling you to do them.
I think this is not something that I was expecting from hypnosis. No, this is not something suitable for me. I'm so sorry, but...
No, so do you not want to try one more session to see how we got on?
Like today?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that, yeah.
So just your glasses off then, okay? And just close your eyes and Rashida, everybody has a part of themselves that sometimes becomes so important to outgrows its usefulness. And these parts have always had a good intention, always tried to protect us from something. And in fact, what it starts to do is it starts to hold us back. And I want you to go inside, deep inside, and I want you to see if you can find this part of you that's been holding you back. And when you do that, you let me know in the usual way by moving your finger. And I want you to explain to that part that it's now time for you to look after it. So walking back to the here and now. For sure.
Sometimes it's very difficult to focus on what you're saying to me. So that's why I have to try really hard.
The part of you that's holding you back, did you identify? I don't even know what it is or anything. Did you identify that?
No.
Do you know if you identified it?
No. Because when I say I'm trying, it means I'm lying, I don't know. It's just so confusing sometimes.
Are you happy to come back?
Well, I'll see what I can do, because I don't want to say that I'm
Well,
coming.
you see, these are all excuses that you're making for not coming back already before you've gone out that door. So what I want you to understand is that you're not wasting my time.
She's just a GP to me, to be honest. And she's something with a positive mind. That might help herself, but it's not something for me because I don't believe these things.
It's a difficult case, that's all I would say about it. Partly because of the reinforcement, the time that it's been there, and the fact that she's on quite a few different medications.
Do you think you want to see her? You just go think about it?
Well, I will think about it, but I don't think I will come back because I already, made my decision that this is not something suitable for me. Yeah.
The problem that hypnotherapy has as a methodology, as a treatment, is it's hard. It's hard to do. You're the conductor of an orchestra, but the client is playing all the different parts. And it's knowing when to play which part at which exact time to get the effect that you're looking for, so that then builds into something else. Chris's main problem is uncontrollable anger. We're going to figure out where this issue that plagued him for the last 20 odd years, where it came from. And we have to roll my sleeves up. This is it's definitely not going to be easy. Just so we're super clear, you want to try and figure out where this came from?
Definitely.
Press down, press down, press down. Okay, and then just close your eyes. Press. Sleep. And just let yourself relax all the way down. Deeper. And deeper. Even deeper. Now. That's it. I'm talking directly to your unconscious mind again, and I'm asking your unconscious mind what identifies with what we're going to call this problem. In the past, stretches out behind all of the events of the past. Somewhere on that timeline, this problem started, although we're not consciously aware of when that was. And so I'm asking your unconscious mind to to take you back to the place where, the time where this problem started. How old are you when this, just before this started? 13, 14, 15. I'm going to say that number again, 15. Okay, so we're 15. And to ask your unconscious mind to give you an awareness in yourself of who it was that happened that caused what we've called this problem. Speak what happened, or indicate it, prefer not to, by gently moving any finger on your right hand. Prefer not to. I'm asking your unconscious mind to give you an awareness of what happened, but only within certain boundaries, only in a way that helps you to resolve any hurt. And so I'm asking your unconscious mind to bring you forward through time, leaving those events and that point far, far, far behind. How are you doing over there?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You alright?
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
Odd.
Odd.
Yeah. Very odd.
Tell me.
Well, I was only sort of seeing pictures that I was being allowed to see. I think I know roughly sort of where it took me. I went on this school trip to Denmark with the school band, and one of my teachers asked if a couple of weeks after that, during the summer holidays, I would be prepared to go and feed his ducks and his geese, because he had pet ducks and geese in the back gardens. And I just got to a memory of the last day I was meant to be feeding the ducks and the geese, and he had come back from his holiday, and a day earlier than I expected, but I couldn't go beyond the memory of getting to his house. But I do know that this guy has been jailed now for being a paedophile, basically, and assaulting several people, young boys, whilst he was at the school I was at, so secondary school. I didn't remember him coming back early until just now.
Yeah.
There's a strong sense that it's something to do with that, but
yeah,
no memory.
That would make sense. I didn't ask your subconscious mind to tell me what happened, deliberately, because I wanted to keep you safe. And sometimes it's better to just
not know.
Yeah. Or leave out the details.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which also explains probably the extreme nature of the behaviour.
I just don't understand the link between something bad happening and then you taking it out on people you care about.
It's just how willing your subconscious mind is to look after you.
Wish I'd managed to get help sooner, because then I wouldn't be talking about the last, I don't know, 20 years of feeling like shit.
I'm really pleased with the way that went with Chris today. He's obviously had a big breakthrough, a big realisation, which will take him a little bit of time to process. Of course it will. But in terms of the emotional attachment to that, I'm really, really happy that he's in a good place, and he's going to continue to be in a good place. So probably need one more session with him just to bring it all together. But my work's done. We're all good.
The brain hemorrhage was, in my mind, the obvious point as to where all this would have started, but obviously not. No idea that was going to come out. Difficult to process. Oh, it's crazy. You can't wrap your head around it. I mean, even now, because even though I've been in the process, I still can't understand how what Ali has just been doing inside has stopped me from how I'm feeling, how I was feeling inside of me. I just still can't make the connection. But having said that, I don't need to. I don't need to. As long as it worked, that's all I care about. How likely is it that the memory's real, that it's not imagined or fake or something?
I think there's a possibility that it's imagined or fake. I think there's a probability that it's real. If you were to ask my professional opinion on what happened there, specifically with you in that session, I'd say that was real. It's a huge thing to uncover.
Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
I can remember later in the day, getting home, speaking to my mum, and my mum saying that took a lot longer than normal.
Are you sure that conversation happened with your mum?
No, because I spoke to my mum on Sunday night when I got back home. Carla said she couldn't remember anything specific around that time.
No, but at the time, there's nothing particularly to stand out to remember, is there?
No.
You were just a bit longer than normal. And then that teacher was definitely
prisoned, I think, back in 2016. It was all over the papers and everything. I've never been with a complaint to the police about anything. No.
So how are you feeling?
I kind of feel like I don't believe myself in a way. Like, no, that couldn't have happened to me. Just in my head, it just doesn't feel real. It feels like it's something that has probably happened to someone else and not myself. Consciously, I'm of a mind that I don't really want to explore it any further.
It's something that Chris had mentioned to me, honestly, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It had come up in conversation. And I remember saying to him, if you went round there to, do things in the house, did anything happen? And he said no, and I left it. But interestingly, there was something in my gut before he came to you where I wondered if there was something around this particular person. So
because we kind of thought it was the brain injury.
And actually, as Chris has been reflecting, he has sort of said, now I'm thinking about it, the changes did happen pre the brain injury. And he talked about things like, he lost interest in the interest that he shared with his friends, and he found it difficult to connect with friends afterwards, which I guess fits with something traumatic, obviously before that.
So sort of checking, saying, look, could this be a false memory? Could this be, we got to be safe, we got to be careful. But everything ties up.
Obviously, with everything that's been going on, just made me feel like really shit about everything, and that just took me back to how I was feeling a couple of weeks ago when bad things would happen, and you just go inside yourself and feel like, oh my god, I don't know how I'm meant to be reacting normally to stress and things.
I'd like you to give yourself permission to cut yourself some slack for a little while, because you have done a phenomenal amount of work in a very short space of time. And then the second thing is, I want to do some work with you today, to kind of start making this feel a bit more normal for you. Right, let's do this. I didn't know you were a guitarist. Sorry, there's been a guitar sitting in the room the whole time, and I've only just noticed it.
Tried learning it for about 6 months, and I will pick it up again, but at the moment I just don't have time.
All right, so just close your eyes, make yourself comfortable. Just ignore the outside world for a while. You start counting back from 300, 299, 298. Time to allow all of this change to settle, as if it never happened. Almost like restore factory settings. No matter how many faulty programs it's run, you are changing. You are resetting. the next part, the next song. To play out exactly in your own style. Because it's your song, play as you like. So long as that song is true. And you can choose to write something that's very impactful, but there's really a little more than 3 chords in the truth. And it's yours to play. Happiness is what happens when you let go, not hold on so tightly. Just open your eyes and come back out.
Going forward, is this something that I'm going to have to do on a regular basis? Like an annual checkup, or I don't know, like once every 6 months, like you see with your dentist? Or...
You're welcome to come and see me once every 6 months if you like, but I think you'll have better things to do, to be honest.
Oh,
I think you'll be quite happily getting on with your life. Imagine being able to just strip away everything that's held you back and allowing you to be free to be the best version of you. That is the promise that hypnosis offers everyone.
It's fabulous. The change in him, the change in his demeanour and everything has been amazing. I've always wanted to see Scottish Island. We've been talking about going. This conversation would never have happened last year. It would have been, go yourself.
You know, for me, if it was going to wear off, that's at least kind of coming on 8 weeks now since we last met, then it would already be starting to diminish, and I'd be starting to go back to the old ways of thinking and the old ways of feeling, and that's not happened.
Definitely feels like it was more than 3 to 4 months ago. That feels like it could have been years ago, to be honest. Do I look different?
Jesus, yes. Yeah, God, yeah. Yeah, massively. You sound different, everything. Do you not see the difference?
It's like that's someone else talking. I've got those memories, but I don't feel that way about things now at all.
We were really at our lowest ebb, and Chris was weeks away from, I don't know, potentially suicide, to be honest.
It's changed my whole life, really.
I think Ali pretty much saved Chris's life. Definitely saved our family.